Okay, if you are an Enneagram type 3, an achiever, performer type, and you're the family member with the loved one that has an addiction, here are some special considerations just for you. The very first thing to think about is the amount of time that it's going to require to slow down and support your loved one in the recovery process. Because very naturally, it's going to be crazy frustrating to you, and it's going to be difficult to understand why your loved one can't just pull it together. Why can't they see that this is just not productive, it is not working for them, and get their game in order? And it's going to be especially difficult for you to see why you should slow yourself down, go to counseling, talk about feelings to help support your loved one. And so what I'm about to say is probably a little unfair, but I'm going to use your 3 against you here. Now, I know that not only do you want to be successful professionally, but you also want to be a great husband, father, wife, sister, whatever that relationship is. I know that it's important to you to do a really good job of it. And if you want to do a really good job of supporting your loved one in recovery, you're going to have to slow down and figure out this whole recovery process. It is truly like a totally different culture with a complete different language and value system, and it might seem pretty foreign to you at first. Now, the good news is that you're a really good student, and I know you're going to pick up on what you need to do very quickly, and you're going to figure out this whole recovery thing pretty fast. You're probably going to figure it out a little faster and quicker, maybe even than your loved one if they're not a type 3, which is going to require a little flexibility on your part. Because in your mind, once you figure out what it takes to be successful at recovery, it doesn't make any sense. You're like, okay, step 1, 2, 3, 4. You naturally think in productivity and efficiency. And unfortunately, most of the time the recovery process, it isn't just like a linear straight line from being addicted to being recovered. It's usually like a couple steps forward and a step back, and a couple steps forward and 2 steps back, and 3 steps forward and 1 step back. It's a lot of back and forth. So go ahead and prepare yourself for that. And maybe one thing that might be useful to help you tolerate that is to know that those mistakes and those back steps are really actually very useful in the process. And the way I see it is, I know that those mistakes are pretty much gonna have to happen. So I'm like, you know what, let's just make these mistakes. Let's get these mistakes done, because I know the sooner that we figure this out, the sooner that we're gonna get where we really need to get. So when you see those mistakes happening and those back steps or those lapses, I don't want you to get frustrated. I want you to understand that, okay, we're on course, lesson learned, we got that one, now let's move on. Let's check off all the mistakes on that list so we can get where we need to get. Hopefully that'll help you tolerate the process just a little bit more.